I flew to Silicon Valley for a 2 week trip with zero agenda and total certainty. I didn't plan on any type of pitching, I didn't have a deck, I didn't have even research on the people that I was going to meet. I simply decided that I'm going to show up completely as myself and see what unfolds. And what happened is something that I have been working for the last decade to make happen in terms of shifting the energy of who I am so that people naturally magnetize and gravitate towards me. And the beauty of this, when your identity leads and strategy follows, things appear and end up being magical. Hi, my name is Ajita. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my live business building experience that I share on a weekly basis. I'm not building this business from hustle and grind. Oddly enough, the event I attended today was Startup Grind. However, I'm not building this business from hustle and grind. Instead, I'm using 4 key principles, which is infinite intelligence, identity, intuition, and inspired action. It is inspired action that has made me come to Silicon Valley this week, and I am absolutely thrilled to be sharing this journey with all of you live on a weekly basis. And you, week by week, you see invisible shifts creating outer visible results, and we are right now on week 11. So this is what unfolded this past week since the last video that I posted. The first event that happened is my inner circle call that I had with my mastermind of women. And I was prepared to ask my question to the mentor that I'm working with. And I asked specifically, this is what I'm going to Silicon Valley for, what is it that you would advise and so on. And her response was, visualize the best case scenario and consider it done. Be in the energy of certainty. So I absolutely loved it. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't panic. The old version of me would have sat and, done research for hours. Okay, who's the founder? What's the background? Who is this venture capitalist? Who do I need to talk to? A lot of mental processing would have happened. But the new version of me that I am right now simply knew that there's whoever I'm meant to meet in this trip, I would absolutely meet. And there is no way that it can be taken away because it is destined for me. It's because I have decided that I am making this trip with no agenda, no surety of anything unfolding. But I made the trip completely in the knowing that I am going to be connecting with whoever I'm meant to connect with. It may be one person, it may be more than one, I have no idea. But I'm completely acting in the spirit of trust and faith. And that was an amazing experience to just have that input from someone who has, as my mentor, who has built a business that is, large enough. She built her business, first year she built her business to 3.3 million in 7 months. And right now her business is making, 53 million odd revenue per year. And she has used the exact principles that I'm using right now, and I'm learning from the best of the best. And when she said, this is what, this is just be in the energy of the certainty and the results already unfolding, and also be in a state where you realize and you embody that you are the light in that room. You are there to really be lit up and attract people to talk to you. That was a beautiful experience that prepared me for this event. And last Friday, so that was on Wednesday. And then on Friday, I had the opportunity to go to an event which was led by the co-CEOs of Leadership Circle. And I love the company Leadership Circle. I'm actually a certified practitioner of Leadership Circle as a tool that I use with my clients to understand where their blind spots are in terms of what's stopping them in fully embodying their leadership potential. And when I had the chance and I found out that they're going to be in town where I live, I made the trip on Friday. And I think for me, emotionally, I felt a sense of I wouldn't call it accomplishment, almost like relief, because the last time I was in Leadership Circle office was in 2023 in July. And it was a life-changing experience for me because once I came back from that trip, I was so altered in my energetic frequency that I literally started a whole new product service coming back from that trip. And I sold $75,000 of that service in 4 weeks, the maximum I have made within a short span of time at that point. And so it was it was an amazing experience. And at the same time, when you experience expansion, automatically there is contraction. So the last 2 years have been contraction phases where everything that is not the true me had to be released. And so when I went to this Friday event, it was so powerful. It was like a full circle moment to be present there. And I was sharing with the CEOs because I know them very well. And I shared how my journey has, led me to complete surrender. And it was so fascinating to hear, one of them say to me, well, now you can be my coach and advisor because you've learned how to surrender, which apparently happens to be the biggest challenge for human beings. Who knew? In any case, it was a beautiful experience emotionally for me. And the very fact that I showed up there as the light, the complete presence. I was just in joy and gratitude being in the presence of those people. And it was a community gathering of all Leadership Circle certified coaches. And it was so good to meet many new people. And the beauty of this event was that I didn't go and introduce myself to many people, but they came to me, others came to me, and some of them even commented me on my presence. They said, you have such a beautiful presence. And to me, that is the proof that the inner work that I've done has actually resulted in a palpable shift in who I am, just as an energetic, version of me. Like people feel my energy, and that is, I think, the first validation as I was getting prepared to come to Silicon Valley, because I deliberately did not want to go around, like a maniac network like I used to do before, like as if, who will I miss and how will the FOMO is completely not there. I think that's what I'm celebrating. And that was a beautiful experience. And I also had the chance to meet one of my, like a temporary mentor. When I was shifting careers, I spoke to a lady over the phone. I just connected with her on LinkedIn and spoke to her on the phone. And she was giving me advice about moving into agile coaching versus leadership coaching. And I happened to meet her in person in that event. And it was so, it was like a full circle moment to just meet somebody who had such a profound impact on you and your career path and journey. So I'm celebrating that absolutely. Of course, it had my inner operating system shifts, both these experiences, but I'm not going to details because I don't have everything scripted out and I'm just speaking from memory and what I remember. So bear with me this week. The third and the main thing I want to talk about is the preparation to come to Silicon Valley. I went for last minute shopping and I bought this shirt I'm wearing is actually a new one, and I would have never bought a shirt like this, but I realized that the more I am being me, bringing color and flowers and the feminine in me, the more joyful I feel, right? So segueing that into today's event, what happened was I attended the Startup Grind conference today, day one, and what was fascinating was I was the only one wearing a bright outfit. Like this is the shirt, but I was wearing an orange jacket on top of this. And one of them actually ended up commenting, and I was having lunch on my own nearby because this time, so before I go there, this time I deliberately decided again not to network, but simply be me and walk around and see who's gravitating towards me and talk to me. So I made 3-4 connections in a sea of people. I made 3-4 connections and they all happened because they wanted to connect with me. And that's how I want this to unfold. This is me learning how to be me and magnetically attract people to me that are drawn to me, and me being me and sharing what I can see for them, how I can help them, listening to them. Like I'm simply being that version of me, right? And so it so happened that I didn't make too many connections, but the fact that it was organic and attraction based, not chasing and forcing, was the best part. And for lunch, I ended up going to a nearby restaurant, and I had 2 people sit in my table, and they looked at me and I said, come join me. And as we were talking, I started asking about their business and of course getting to know them, and I was sharing about mine. And one of them is a founder, and I was asking her, what are your challenges? And she was talking about not being able to, doesn't know there's a product, it's not been launched, and I don't know how to get the users and so on. So I was giving her asking some questions, and the second person sitting in the table was looking at me, and she extended her hand to shake my hand and said, you are asking such specific questions that are so apt for the situation. I looked at her and I smiled and I said, that's what I do for a living. And it was really fascinating to see how people that need something from you are showing up and receiving that as well. The only person that I ended up initiating a conversation with was actually a venture capital firm marketing lead. And so I had a question for her just to understand how they approach supporting their founders that they have invested in terms of their leadership capacity and ability. And her response was, first thing she said, which made me smile, is, we are not as organized as you think we are. And it didn't surprise me because it's a venture capitalist firm, and many of them invest in startups, and they don't necessarily they're not like corporate organizations where everything is so structured and so on. Maybe there are some, but this one wasn't. She was very upfront in saying that. And she did say that one of the ways to partner with a VC firm would be to actually help a portfolio company founder succeed and then lead in from there. I heard it, but instantly my intuition said, that's not true for you. So I said, I heard it, I thanked her, and I walked away. And I didn't even want to connect with her because I didn't resonate with her advice. And the reason I'm sharing this with all of you is because it is so important for you. You can ask for advice from anybody and everybody if you choose to, but please only take what resonates for you, because that what they say may be true for them from their experience, but may not be true for you. So that is one other thing. And of course, as I was sitting in the lunch with the two women, one of them was talking about she's been in Silicon Valley for many years, and she said, I love the fact that you're wearing something so colorful. And I said, yeah, my job here is to add some cheer and color and happiness into the space. And she's like, well, Silicon Valley is so grays and blacks and so boring. And I said, that's exactly why I'm here. And I said that because there's this knowing that I'm meant to be here. In fact, earlier this week, I actually when I was walking, I made a declaration saying, before the end of the year, I am moving to Bay Area. It's not for me to figure out the how it's going to happen, where am I going to go, and none of that. I just know that I'm moving. It's declared and decided. Now I've made a declaration to all of you. It's done. Now we'll see. We all together will see how it's going to unfold. Okay, with that said, let me wrap up my startup grind experience today. So the best thing, throughout the process, I was present, and I kept still asking, infinite intelligence, like, what did you bring me here for? Is there anything for me to receive? And I did receive quite a bit. What I will say is this. There is so much competition. There is so much scarcity energy. There is so much fear. There is so much comparison in that particular environment. I barely spent 6 hours in that place, and it was so obvious how much that entire space is driven by scarcity, driven by fear of missing out. I can't even begin to explain how much that energy seeped into this place. And the beauty is, as I kept asking, what is it that you want me to hear and know from this place? On stage, last closing keynote was between the founder of Startup Grind and the founder of Twitch. I think it was Jim Tan. I don't remember I probably am butchering his first name, but it was the last name Tan. He sold his company for $1 billion to was it Amazon, I think? And he gets on stage. These two guys are having a conversation, and the founder of Twitch tells that his discussion is all about how to stop comparing. More importantly, he talks about starting a gratitude ritual every morning. 3 minutes, 3 minutes to 5 minutes he spends writing. He has a tattoo in his arm which says gratitude, because he said, even though I made $1 billion, even though I was successful, I kept comparing myself with the next successful person. Like, how can I be that? How can I be that? So he was very unhappy. He said, even though I was successful, I was very unhappy. It was so powerful to listen to that statement on stage from a person who has sold successfully a startup and made millions. He sold the company for $1 billion. Of course, he made millions. And to hear him say that even though all that success happened, he still was unhappy. And so the founder of Startup Grind was asking him, so what did you do? And Jim Tan talks about meditation. He talks about being as energy in the field of consciousness. He used these words. He used the word consciousness, he used the word meditation, he used the word gratitude, he used the word happiness, all in the same breath as succeeding as a startup founder. So to me, as I was hearing that, it was so clear to me why I was asked to be here. Because even though you can succeed, you can be in the rat race of succeeding as a startup founder, even though that is what you're rushing after, the truth is, even if you achieve that destination, you will still not get what it is that you are hoping to get in the pursuit of that thing. In his case, it was happiness. He thought he will be happy once he succeeds in business and has a successful exit or startup, etc. It happened. Yet, he was just downright unhappy because there was a constant need to compare, to prove. And this is exactly the space that I operate in, and this is exactly what I'm mastering even for my own self, to say, you know what, I'm happy where I am. I'm happy as I am. Even if nothing changed in my external reality, I'm happy as I am because I have what I have. I've been blessed with so many things, so many gifts, talents, ways to impact this world. Everything besides what I have right now is a plus. That's why I'm actually looking at this journey of going from 0 to 4.4 million declaration that I'm tracking live on YouTube. For me, this journey itself is an experiment, an experience that I get to share with the world. That is why I'm recording every week what is shifting. And within the last 11 weeks, I have shifted so much as a person, because the old version of me would have been a very outcome-oriented, desperate, beating myself up. The old version of me today would have been weeping on the way back from the event because, oh my God, I didn't get any meetings. I didn't get any contacts meaningful. I wasted the whole day. I would be so hard on myself. But this version of me is like, I was just playing loud Bollywood music in the car, driving back, and I was just singing. I was smiling because I know that who I am meant to serve in this journey is already pre-decided, that I'm meeting them at the right time, at the right place. I don't know the right time and the right place. But I simply follow my intuition. Even if nothing happens in the 2 weeks that I'm here in terms of outcomes, I know that I have accomplished what I came here to accomplish in more ways than one. Because my logical mind will not understand it, but the deeper part of me very well does. Okay? So anyway, what I want to conclude the Startup Grind experience is this, that and also the Startup Grind founder himself was saying how he used to feel this comparison, stress, the need to compete, to succeed, right? I could feel the energy of the two of them, that they have gotten to a place of growth. In fact, the founder of Twitch told the founder of Startup Grind that, oh, you've grown then, right? That's what growth is like. Growth truly is understanding that there is nothing more to be accomplished, or more importantly, it is okay to have the desire for accomplishment, but you cannot and do not need to attach your identity to the success of that accomplishment. It's a nice to have. If you don't have it, you don't diminish by any means. In fact, the title of that closing keynote was Net Worth versus Self-Worth. And I loved it because you can have millions of net worth, but if you are still lacking self-worth, you will try to seek it from outside. And it's not a process that will ever get you to feel fulfilled at all. Until and unless you find your worth from within yourself, there is no substitute. You can chase as much as you want. That is essentially the message that was given in that closing keynote. So what's my message for you this week is this. Please lead with your identity. If you're still seeking something from outside to prove who you are, to prove your worth, then it's time to think again, reflect, and really ask yourself, what is it that I need to change in terms of who I am that can have a better result on the outside for you? And that's all I have for you this week. And I have a packed week this week and a few meetings next week, all personal, nothing professional per se. But I have 3 more days of events to go to this week, and also some family trip and fun outing that is planned as well, because I'm living actually in my first cousin's home, so I'm really well taken care of. and I love that. I'm actually living in this house, or coming to this house after 11 years. The last time I was in this house was when my awakening started back in 2015. In August of 2015, I was here, and now here I am at the tail end of it, finishing up my old version completely and embodying this new, sparkling new light version of me, and I'm celebrating that as well. So that's it for week 11, and I will see you all in week 12. Stay fine and smiling until then.